I'm a researcher at the Federal Institute for Geosciences and Natural Resources, but what I would like to present today is the research that I've done at the University of Mainz, and that is about coupling geodynamic with thermodynamic modeling to investigate the compositional evolution and also the mechanical evolution of magmatic systems in the crust. Why it's important, if we look here to this picture, we see that it's assumed that we have a distributed magmatic system in the crust with a lot of sills that are at different depth level intruded, and we want to know how this system evolves on the one side dynamically but also chemically. And for this we were using a 2D geodynamical petrological model that solves the conservation equation of mass, momentum and energy, and this was then coupled with a thermodynamic modeling approach to track the evolving chemistry of melt and residuum during this evolution of the magmatic system. And we consider quite a complex chemistry. In total we consider here 10 different kind of oxides, and yes, and what we do, we inject melt into the crust and see what is the stress field above this melt lenses, and depending on which kind of fracture would produce, we decide if we create a new dike that extract the melt or not. That means, for example, if we can generate above the melt lenses opening fracture, then the melt is injected into the fracture. But that is not the end. We really have to consider what is the chemistry in this dike and also in the residuum after we extract the melt. That means we have to update all the information, like not only the chemistry, we also have to update what is the density, for example, of the residuum and in the dike that is produced after melt extraction, because this density also affects the mechanical, dynamical evolution of our system. Here we see the evolution, how it looks like. That is now for 440 million years, 440,000 years. And what we do, we inject melt somewhere in the crust that are also called sills, and then we see how our system evolves. As mentioned before, if the stress field allow dike formation, we generate here new dikes and deplete at the same time the source region. We can sometimes even have crustal melting, magma mixing, and so on. What is the cool stuff here is that we can track during our model evolution the chemistry of the different rocks that are formed. That means, for example, we see here all that are our injected basalts, but from this we have highly evolved rocks that are produced in these dikes, and up to, for example, rhyolites or granites. And if we melt the surrounding hydrated or rocks here in the crust, we can even have these rocks here on the right side. And what is also very cool, we can not only check the chemical evolution, we can also check which minerals are produced where, when. This is shown here. We can see at each position. This is now a section that is shown here, and we see, for example, exactly like here by number 4, we have, for example, 39% feldspar, 18% amphibole, and so on and so on. What we also have done, we compared this with rocks with natural rock samples. Here's from Coalstone arc, and we see that our rock composition produced in our geodynamic models fit quite well, also natural samples. We can do a lot of other stuff, for example, present magma mixing, or look how the solidus change of the newly generated dikes and also of the residuum left behind after melt extraction. We can check also what is the density of the different kind of rocks that were produced. Would they maybe lead to some downward dripping material or not? And yeah, that is my study. And if you want to know more about this is already published in Rummel et al. 2020. And thank you for your attention.